The summer ends, but not every story finds its ending. On this final night at Cousins Beach, love, heartbreak, and choices collide. The bonds that held them together will be tested, and one decision will change everything forever. Asterisk, the last episode left us standing at the edge of a storm. Belly had spent the summer caught between two brothers, Conrad, the boy who has owned her heart for years, and Jeremiah, the one who has stood by her side when things fell apart. Episode 9 ended with Conrad slipping further into silence, his walls higher than ever, while Jeremiah was the one reaching out to hold Belly steady. But with every moment, the weight of Susanna's memory pressed down on them. Her presence lingered in the beach house like a ghost, soft but undeniable, pulling each of them back to a place of pain and longing. We saw Laurel, Belly's mother, trying to hold her daughter together while quietly grieving her best friend. Her words to Belly were clear: love cannot thrive in confusion. Still, Belly found herself tangled in feelings that could not be easily untied. At the same time, Stephen, Belly's brother, became a quiet observer of the chaos, trying to protect her while realizing she had to choose her own path. The Cousins. Beach House itself became more than just a backdrop. Every corner carried echoes of summers past. The porch where Belly first kissed Conrad, the pool where Jeremiah confessed his feelings, the living room where they all laughed, cried, and remembered Susanna. By episode 9, this house had transformed into a battlefield of emotions. It was no longer simply a place for childhood summers. It was now the stage where the future of their relationships would be decided. And yet beneath all the pain, there was still love. That is what made the situation unbearable. Belly loved Conrad. She always had. But she also loved Jeremiah. Not in the same burning, stormy way, but in a softer, steady rhythm. She could not deny either of them, and in doing so, she risked losing them both. That is where we begin. Episode 10. The finale opens with a soft, almost haunting quiet. The camera drifts across Cousins Beach in the early morning, the sky pale and endless. A voiceover from Belly reflects on how summers always felt endless, how she once believed nothing would ever change, but now she knows that summers are fragile, and so is love. Her tone carries both sadness and a strange kind of strength, as if she knows that this is the day she has to stop running from her choice. From there, the episode moves into Belly's perspective. She stands in her room looking out the window at the waves crashing. On her dresser sits a letter from Susanna, the last letter she ever wrote before she passed. Belly picks it up, her hands trembling, and we hear Susanna's words in a soft voiceover. Love is not about choosing the easy path. It's about choosing the truth, even when it breaks your heart. These words settle into Belly's mind like a seed, reminding her of the weight of the choice ahead. Meanwhile, downstairs, Conrad is sitting at the kitchen table, a notebook open in front of him, but nothing written inside. His eyes are tired, his hair messy, his hands gripping a pen he cannot use. He wants to say everything to Belly, but fear keeps him silent. He believes if he speaks, he will ruin things. Yet staying silent is ruining them anyway. Across the room, Jeremiah walks in, his presence calm but restless, sees his brother's stillness as weakness, and for the first time, he decides he will no longer wait. He will fight for Belly, even if it means breaking his brother's heart. The tension builds quickly. The episode does not waste time showing us that this is the final stretch. Every character knows the summer is ending, and the truth has to come out. Belly cannot hide behind her fears anymore. Conrad cannot hide behind his silence. And Jeremiah cannot keep waiting for a love that might not be his as the day begins. Each of them prepares for the gathering that will mark the end of the season, a small party at Cousins Beach with friends and family, meant to honor tradition, but heavy. With unspoken goodbyes, the house fills with the smell of food, the sound of waves, and the quiet buzz of conversations. But beneath it all, every glance, every word, every pause feels like it carries the weight of years. The finale sets itself up in layers. Belly's reflection, Conrad's silence, Jeremiah's determination, Laurel's watchful heart, Stephen's quiet worry. It is all building toward one inevitable moment, Belly's choice. And as the sun begins its slow climb higher into the sky, we know this is not just the end of a season. This is the end of innocence, the end of unspoken feelings, and the beginning asterisk. The day at Cousins Beach begins slowly, but beneath the sunlight every choice feels heavy. Belly wakes with a restless heart, torn between the memories of the past and the promise of what could come next. She spends the morning walking along the shoreline, her feet sinking into the sand, the ocean stretching endlessly before her. The waves crash in steady rhythm, a reminder that time does not wait for anyone. And neither will love, she remembers. Conrad, the boy who was her first everything, first crush, first heartbreak, the one she wrote about in her journal for years. He is complicated, full of walls, but when those walls fall, she sees the truest version of him, the one who loves, with an intensity that can burn her whole world down. Yet then there is Jeremiah, steady and bright, the one who catches her when she falls. His love feels safe, unshaken, like sunlight through an open window. How do you choose between fire and light? How do you choose between a boy who is your dream and another who is your reality? Back at the house, Conrad finally reaches his breaking point. For days he has carried his silence like armor, too afraid to speak his truth. But now, with Belly slipping away, he cannot stay quiet any longer. Stephen finds him on the porch, staring into the horizon, a notebook finally filled with messy handwriting. If you don't tell her, Stephen says softly, you'll regret it forever. It's the kind of advice only a brother can give. Not pushing, not judging, but reminding him that sometimes courage is the only way forward. Conrad doesn't answer right away, but his eyes glisten with the weight of what's unsaid. He knows Stephen is right. Meanwhile, Jeremiah moves through the day with a quiet determination. He has always been the one to smile through the pain, the one to laugh even when his heart aches. But now, the mask is slipping. He finds Belly by the dock, sitting with her knees pulled close, and for the first time, he speaks without fear. I need to know, Belly, he says. His voice is steady, but his hands tremble. If it's not me, tell me now. Don't let me keep holding on if your heart belongs to him. The vulnerability in his words cuts through the calm of the afternoon. Belly looks at him, eyes wide, but she cannot answer. Her silence becomes the answer Jeremiah has feared, though he tries to hide his hurt behind a fragile smile. This tension builds as the sun begins to dip lower, casting the house in golden light. Preparations for the farewell gathering bring everyone together, but each moment feels like a countdown. Laurel arranges flowers in the kitchen, her movements quiet, her face watching Belly with a mother's knowing eyes. She doesn't say much, but the silence between them speaks volumes. Belly can feel it. Her mother knows this night will change everything. Outside, Conrad and Jeremiah cross paths. Their eyes meet, and for the first time they both understand that they cannot keep pretending this love triangle hasn't drawn a line between them. There are no harsh words, no shouting, only a silence that feels heavier than anger. They are brothers, bound by blood and by love for the same girl, and tonight, one of them will lose her. The gathering begins slowly. Friends and neighbors arrive, laughter echoing across the porch. But within the group, Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah move like shadows circling one another. Every glance feels loaded. Every pause in conversation feels like the world waiting to break. The setting is warm, food on the table, music humming in the background, the ocean breeze drifting through the open doors, yet the atmosphere is anything but peaceful. It is the calm before a storm that everyone feels but no one dares to name. As Belly walks through the house, she sees memories layered over reality. The hallway where Conrad once touched her hand for the first time, the living room where Jeremiah made her laugh when she thought she'd never smile again. Every space reminds her of a different kind of love, a different version of who she has been. And she realizes that no matter what choice she makes tonight, she will lose something. She cannot carry both brothers into her future. The episode makes every detail feel symbolic. The soft flicker of candles, the music fading in and out, the way Conrad watches Belly from across the room, as if she is both the dream and the wound he cannot let go of. The way Jeremiah lingers near her, protective, present, but uncertain of whether she will ever truly be his. It is a portrait of love and loss painted in the smallest moments, By the time night falls, the stage is set. Belly has avoided her choice, for as long as she can, but now, surrounded by the people she loves most. Under the same roof where every summer memory was born, she knows the moment has come. The finale doesn't rush, lingers in the quiet glances, the soft touches, the unspoken words, building an ache that feels almost unbearable. And when the music softens, the laughter fades, Belly steps outside into the cool night air. The ocean roars in the distance, wild and endless, just like her heart. She knows both Conrad and Jeremiah are waiting. She knows tonight, asterisk. The night at Cousins Beach grows darker, but the tension is brighter than ever. Inside the house, laughter fades into background noise. Glasses clink, music hums, and voices echo in soft waves. But for Belly, it all feels far away. She steps out onto the porch, the air cool against her skin, the ocean alive with restless energy. Tonight is not about the party. Tonight is about the truth she has carried too long. Conrad finds her first. He doesn't storm out or call her name, just appears, quiet, as if he has been waiting his whole life for this moment. His eyes search hers, and for once, he doesn't look away. He takes a breath, a shaky one, and finally lets the words spill out. I've loved you, Belly. I've loved you for as long as I can remember. I know I've messed up. I know I've hurt you, but I can't let this summer end without telling you. You're it for me. You've always been it. The silence that follows feels endless. Belly's heart races. Torn between the confession she's dreamed of for years and the ache of all the times he stayed silent when she needed him most. She wants to believe him, but she also knows love cannot survive on words alone. Before she can answer, Jeremiah steps into the doorway, his voice sharp but trembling. Don't do this, Con. Not like this. His eyes shift to Belly, and the mask of calm he wore earlier shatters. Belly, I've been here, through everything. I've shown up every time. I've loved you in the open, without hiding. Tell me that doesn't matter. Brothers stand before her, not fighting with fists, but with truths too heavy to ignore. Conrad, raw and exposed, holding out a love that has always burned, but never felt safe. Jeremiah, steady and aching, offering a love that has never wavered, but has always lived in Conrad's shadow. Belly feels the weight of it pressed down on her chest. She remembers every moment, Conrad's quiet glances, Jeremiah's easy laughter, the way both of them held pieces of her heart without ever asking permission. Tears fill her eyes as she whispers, I can't keep breaking all of us. Her voice cracks, softer than the ocean's roar, but strong enough to cut through the night. Jeremiah takes a step forward, his voice shaking. Then choose, Belly. Not tomorrow, not next summer. Tonight. Choose. The words hang in the air, heavier than the waves crashing against the shore. The porch feels smaller, the world narrowing to just the three of them. Belly looks at Conrad, at Jeremiah, and then at the ocean beyond them, endless and untamed. She knows whatever she says next will change everything. The camera lingers on her face, flicker of candlelight from the party behind her mixing with the silver glow of the moon, her lips part, her breath sharp, and though the audience waits, desperate to hear her decision, the show drags out the moment with unbearable tension. Because this is not just about choosing between two boys. This is about choosing who she will be, who she will grow into, what kind of love she is ready to fight for. And in that stillness, the confrontation isn't just explosive, it's intimate, almost suffocating. Three hearts beating in the dark, tied together by years of summers, now forced to unravel in one night. The storm has finally broken. Asterisk, the night grows still. The music inside fades, the laughter softens, and the porch is left in silence. Stands frozen between the two brothers, her breath uneven, her heart beating too loud for the quiet around her. She has carried this weight for so long, the dreams, the promises, the fears, and now, finally, she lets go. Her words are soft, but they cut deeper than any storm. She speaks the truth, not out of impulse, but out of a need to stop the endless cycle of breaking and mending. One brother's face falls, the other's eyes fill with light, And in that single instant, the balance of everything they once knew collapses. Conrad turns away first. His chest rises and falls, his jaw tight, but his eyes betray him. Full of love, full of loss, full of the words he should have said years ago. He walks back into the house without looking back, the boy who always left first, leaving again. Belly watches him disappear, knowing that part of her heart goes with him. Even if she has chosen another path, Jeremiah doesn't rush to celebrate. His smile is faint, almost unsure, as if he understands the weight of winning a love that was never simple. He takes Belly's hand, his fingers gentle. But his eyes hold a question she cannot answer tonight. Can love built on pain survive the years to come? The camera lingers on the small details. Laurel watching quietly from the kitchen window. Stephen's worried glance as he notices Conrad slipping away, the flicker of candlelight dimming as the party winds down. Everyone feels the shift, even if no one dares to speak it aloud. Later, Belly walks alone down to the shoreline. The ocean is wild tonight, restless, endless, and she lets the waves wash over her ankles as if searching for clarity. Her voice carries in a quiet narration, reflecting not just on the summer, but on what comes after. I thought choosing would make everything easier. But love isn't simple. Love doesn't end with a decision. It begins there. I don't know what the future holds. I only know that summer is over, and nothing will ever be the same again. The screen paints her in moonlight, her hair blown by the wind, her figure small against the vast horizon. Behind her, the beach house glows softly. A place that has held every joy and every heartbreak, now both a home and a memory. In a final montage, you see it all. Conrad driving away, his face set in silence, tears threatening but never falling. Jeremiah lying awake in his bed, Belly's hand in his, but his eyes open to the ceiling, as if afraid to dream. Laurel folding Susanna's last letter, pressing it gently into a drawer, her eyes wet but strong. Stephen sitting on the steps, staring into the night, realizing that the family he once knew is forever changed. The last image returns to Belly. She looks out at the horizon, her face calm but uncertain. The waves crash, the sky stretches endlessly, and her voice whispers one last line before the screen fades to black. Summer may have ended, but the story of who we are is only just beginning. The screen goes dark, silence lingers, when with it the promise that Cousins Beach will always hold more than just memories. It will hold the future, messy and beautiful, waiting to be written. Asterisk.